Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Deep Dive Podcast, episode 16. Tonight we have Jennifer from Gals, Ghost and Ladies on with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
It is going to be a great podcast. Coming up Wednesday, May 6th. This Wednesday, we have C&E Paranormal coming at us. So we have Erica, at least. I don't know if Eric will be able to be, or yeah, I think it's Eric. Oh, my bad if it's not. Um, Chris. Chris is his name. Ha! So sorry. Chris and Erica, hopefully they both can be on, but for sure, 100% Erica. And then Sunday for Mother's Day, we have Jeff with Ghost Quest Solo going to
Oh,
be on. We are excited to do that special Mother's Day event. That is like at noon, I think, or at 2. It's some
yeah.
I think I even put that in here wrong. I have to look really quick because it is not at 7. It
We
is
got
at
it.
noon.
Yeah.
It is at noon. I will get that changed. So you guys make sure you are joining us for that. It is going to be an early broadcast. Um, anyway, hello, Joy. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, Joy.
Hello,
Hi,
Daniel
Dan.
Burns.
These are my friends.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Joy. Um, and Kat, my
And
friend Kat. Yeah, these are my friends. Wow, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Thank you so
yeah,
much,
hey
Nathan, which
Nathan.
means Sue is not far behind.
And
Or they're
they're all
watching
watching.
together. Yeah, these
Yeah.
are my friends. So, hi, everybody.
Yay, welcome, welcome, welcome. And they're all off
Yeah.
of YouTube.
There's
We love
Sue. Yep,
that.
yep.
So anyway, welcome Jennifer for being on the show. Hello, hello. Tell us a little bit about you and your gals.
So I am here with my team. I am Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies. I'm pretty much Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies is a solo operation, but we collaborate with a ton of other people. And I would say that a bunch of other people are like kind of like commemorative gals. I do a lot of stuff with a lot of the same people, but I am Gals myself, Ghosts and Ladies, and I've been investigating the paranormal for a little over 2 years. I started Gals at about the same time, of course. And shortly after I started that, I started like live streaming and doing content creating. And I really fell in love with that part of it too. So I really like both aspects of it.
Awesome. We have a lot more people joining in. Eric and Dave.
Aaron, it's Aaron. Sorry, Aaron. Hi, Aaron.
And then we have these guys. All of these guys
Carrie,
are in.
Sybil, my friend. These are all my friends. Listen, I want to ask my friends a favor, okay? Paranormal Girls and Tim, I follow them. I like them. I love their stuff. You guys will as well. They're at 1,999 followers on Facebook. Who is going to be number 2,000? I told them before we went on the air, I said, I promised them they're going to hit 2,000 tonight. So at least you people that are watching tonight, go over to their, well, certainly like what you're watching on YouTube, but make it a point tonight to go over to their Facebook page and like and follow so that we make sure that Paranormal Girls breaks that 2,000 follower mark tonight. Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
You got it.
Yes.
Well,
Promise. Promise.
well,
Okay.
And if you guys want to subscribe, we do have these podcasts that drop Sundays and Wednesday nights over there on YouTube as well. Thank you, Sun Cat.
Yay. Kat's the best.
Thank you.
Kat has been an FOG, a friend of Gal's, since day one. And we're going to talk a little bit about Kat in a few minutes when we talk about my new show. But I will say that Kat and I have known each other since we were 5.
Nice.
So we've known each other a long time. So
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for following us. We do appreciate it. Um, so what got you interested in the paranormal, Miss Jennifer?
Um, I don't know. I think that as a girl growing up in New England, the Lizzie Borden story always intrigued me. I feel like I like to say I cut my teeth on Lizzie Borden, you know what I mean? For like true crime. And then that just kind of really sparked like a curiosity and that kind of stuff. And I always loved like horror fiction and horror movies. So, and I always felt like I don't know, like I don't know, weird things that happened throughout my life. Nothing I could really pinpoint or put my finger on, but weird stuff happened. And then as I get older, you start seeing stuff, ghost adventures with no big camera crews following us around. And you look at that and go, hey, hey, I'm already walking around with a video camera attached to me as it is. And I already love this kind of stuff. And now I'm really intrigued. And now they're going to these places that I've heard about before. And I just really, I started watching it on TV and got really interested in it. Ghost Adventures and TAPS, Ghost Hunters, you know, all the original ones, loved them all. Um, and then eventually, on my 60th birthday, Adam Berry had an event here in my hometown, in my locally, and I love Adam Berry, and he kindred spirits and ghost hunters and all that. So I went to his event, and I went home from his event, and I said to my husband, I want to do this all the time. So I did. I just started doing it all the time. I started seeking out these events. I started seeking out other people who I had no idea, you guys. I had no idea there was a community of people that did this. Like this Adam Berry public ghost hunting. I mean, I had done a Lizzie Borden overnight a few years back, but that was really kind of a novelty thing. It was a lot of fun, but it wasn't to the level of the kind of stuff that we do ourselves now. Estes, or that kind of, you know what I mean? That weird putting the equipment in our own hands, you know? So I did it that one time and I fell in love with it. And a month later, I was back at the same place, Emory Estate in Weymouth, Massachusetts. Yet back again a month later. And then I just kind of set a goal. I said, I would like to do one of these a month for the rest of my life. And then I started kind of changing the goal a little bit. Marketing. I'm really good at marketing. I am good at kind of, and I'm getting better at live streaming, podcasting, and videoing. And I just thought, how can I kind of marry all of these favorite hobbies of mine into this one thing? And it just kind of swirled together. And here I am doing amazing paranormal investigations with amazing people, filming, doing videos, doing live stream, all with a paranormal theme, meeting wonderful people. It's like, this is more than what I envisioned 2 years ago in such a good way. I said, oh, I want to do this once a month for the rest of my life. But no, I'm doing things a lot of weekends. I'm doing things in different capacity. I'm assisting other people. I'm collaborating with other groups, which I absolutely love. Which I wanted to say, you know, you asked about my team. I do like being gals, kind of like a lone entity, because as I was saying to some friends yesterday, I love doing things with people, but we all have our own things too. So we love doing things as groups, but I know that Sue and Nathan are with other groups doing other things as well. And I think that kind of enhances the experience. You know, when we do get together, we're able to talk about other things that we've done, you know, with other people and learn from that. So again, I love the group aspect of it, but we all still have our own separate things too.
Right. That's awesome. Okay. Lisa joined in.
Lisa, I went to Lizzie Borden house with Lisa back in 2018. Yep, I sure did. Yep.
Paul said Red Flag Paranormal is in the house, and last evening was a perfect example.
Oh, hi, Cheryl. Of course, we met last night. I'm so looking forward to seeing more of you and Paul. So last night we went to a Masonic lodge. I don't want to give too much away about it because it was a first time investigation. I don't think anybody had ever been in there to investigate. So it was very exciting. And many of the people that are in the chat with us tonight were there. And Cheryl and her husband Paul, I met them. So it was a very exciting building. If you've ever done a Masonic temple, you know there's a vibe to it. Have you ever been to a Masonic temple?
Yep.
Yeah. So you know there's a vibe to it. So this building, I believe, had never been investigated before. And to me, it felt that way. To me, it felt like it had never been investigated before. to me, it felt like there were things there that were maybe a little shy to come out. We saw some teasers, we felt some teasers, and I think it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, I get invited to go back there again because it's only just begun there. It's only just begun. So that was a lot of fun. That was last night, and so fortunate. It was only like a 10-minute drive for me. Other people had a ways to go. It was 10 minutes from my house.
Nice, nice,
So
nice.
yeah.
Kevin, after dark, thanks for joining, you guys. So yeah, on your investigations, do you mainly just do locations? Do you do residential? What's your niche?
Yes.
All of
I
the
think
above.
for me and my and the people that I do this with, we've done all kinds of anything from more than one Masonic lodge, restaurants, private residences, um, teen centers, senior centers, tea rooms. We Sue and Nathan and I were so fortunate enough to get into a place that's been a tea room where they read cards for like 40 something years, and the place never had an investigation done. And all day long they've got like, spirit readings going on. So we were really lucky to get in there and do an investigation there at night. But I think for me, no place at this point in time is off limits. For myself, I've not been to one of the bigger sanitariums. Like I haven't been to Waverly Hills. I haven't been to any one of those kind of places, but I would certainly welcome the opportunity. That being said, I also have a friend with a private home that they rent out, and on occasion will rent my friend's house out and go there as a small group and have a fun night out with a small group of friends. So I think for myself at this point in time, nothing is off limits. Nothing's off limits for me.
Perfect. Sybil says there's always secrets within those Masonic walls, and that is true. That is
Mhm.
very true. We have one that's located in Des Moines, which is like 15 minutes from me. And we had a Halloween party there one year, and we took off and went upstairs in the Masonic part itself. And yeah, it was creepy. It's got some creepy vibes.
Yeah.
Previously possessed also mentioned ships, because ships are another good place. Do you do ships?
Absolutely. We did and I did with Previously Possessed. We went to the and so many other people in the chat right now too. We went to the USS Salem here in Quincy, Massachusetts, which I can see from my house. I'm fortunate enough to have a water view, and across the bay is the USS Salem. Now, I lived here for 12 years, and a few weeks back was the first time I ever went to the Salem. But it was a very exciting experience. It's a very, very active ship. And I highly recommend a ship experience to anybody. I think there's different types of ship experience. You've got like a naval ship, which is a naval ship, and then you've got something like the Queen Mary, which would be a whole other level, I think, of
Right.
ship to investigate. Well, again, nothing's off limits for me. There you go. See, we've done a ship, we've done restaurants, we've done houses, we've done retail spaces. So far, nothing off limits. So far,
We have not done restaurants. We have not done like a bar. We have not been able to access that, I guess. Not really like try to get into those yet. But definitely I think it would be interesting. So
Lori's
hi
Lori's our
Lori.
West Coast fan. Hi, Christy. Okay. I'm going to take a minute here and give a shout out to Christy Parrish, if I may. I have something really, really exciting to announce. Before we came online, I was telling Brenda and Tim who Christy was, and I think in the New England area, Christy is very, very well known. She is on a mission to preserve history. She is on a mission to tell the stories for the people who just can't speak for themselves. So at this point in time, Christy is launching a new program. Brenda, if you could flash that graphic, Christy is launching a new program called The Walk. And that is where Christy Parrish will go to your location and do a walkthrough. I want to say a blind walkthrough where preferably she knows nothing about your location, and we film her walking through your location, and then afterwards we'll edit it and release these as episodes. At this point, we've got about 5 of them booked. We've got one filmed. Both Christy was in her editing room and I was in mine today, so we were both pedal to the metal on that. But we've got about 4 or 5 more already booked going into the summer, so we're hoping that maybe this fall we can release a season of these. So stay tuned for The Walk. Christy Parrish doing The Walk. And for folks local to Massachusetts in this area, if you are interested in having The Walk with Christy done at your property or your location, you need to contact me, Jennifer Payne, and I am doing the bookings for Christy, because the idea is we really don't want her to know a lot about the location. So please reach out to me, Jennifer Payne 36A at gmail.com with your location or your questions, comments, concerns, and we'll address them, and we'll try to get you scheduled with Christy Parrish for The Walk. I can't wait till we release these episodes. Thank you very much, Brenda. I just had to say that, and you guys will not be disappointed. We've got some great things in store for you with this. You are not going to want to miss this.
It sounds like a really cool series, to even be waiting to get in to watch those when you guys start putting those out. We have comments coming in like crazy.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear those comments. What do people have to say about Christy Parrish and The Walk? Oh, well, hello, Catherine.
She's a team member of ours.
Oh, great. Hi. Hi.
Yeah. So anyway, Jeff is here. Hello.
Hi, Jeff. Ghost Quest Solo. Laurie sounds very exciting. Laurie is a number one fan of Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies,
Awesome.
for sure. But Laurie, you are absolutely going to enjoy this show. If you like everything that we've been presenting so far, this is going to be right up your alley. I promise you that with Christy Parrish and The Walk, what you're going to see is real, and at times funny, and at times emotional.
Okay.
But it's going to be real. It's going to be real, and that's what we're promising. So great. We can't wait to have you tune in.
Kathy says,
Awesome.
definitely can't wait to watch those. Kevin is excited about it. And then Nathan is looking forward to viewing it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. So I think we're going to have some crossover fans here, Brenda. Like I was saying, you guys are going to follow and like Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies, and my folks are going to follow you. Any bloopers? I can't tell, Joy. I can't tell. That should answer your question.
maybe not. So
and Sue is looking forward to The Walk as well, for sure. Another friend of Gals. Sue puts the S in K&S. Sue and Nathan are part of K&S Paranormal, a group that I partner up with quite frequently.
Awesome.
Yeah. So again, I just want to say thank you again. Definitely bloopers. Thank you again for letting me share that information about The Walk. I'm going to share it again later before we sign off tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Tell me how you came up with Lizzie Lou Studio.
Well, Lizzie Lou Studio, that's a very, very personal thing for me. So I am Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies, but I do stream from Lizzie Lou Studio. My very first live stream, my cousin Michelle, who's my very first best friend, we grew up together. Her dad, my Uncle Tom, had passed away, and he was a great guy. He was a great guy. And when it was coming up on the 2-year anniversary of his passing, Michelle came right out and asked me, would you do something to kind of honor my dad? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do a live stream. And I really didn't Sorry, Michelle, I didn't give it much thought after that. And then she started bugging me about it. I'm like, oh shit, I said I would do this, didn't I? So I had better keep my promise to Michelle and certainly to honor my Uncle Tommy because I loved him so much. So I did my very first live stream, and it was from a big easy chair with my laptop and everything. And I basically what I did was tell the story, not just of Uncle Tommy, but I told the story in my what it was like to grow up in my very, very large, boisterous Italian family with lots of aunts and uncles and lots of cousins and all that kind of stuff. So I did it one time, one night, and after an hour and a half of talking about my family, I signed off and said, I want to do this every day. See what I'm starting to do? I'm doing these things and I'm like, oh my God, this is a new passion of mine. So sorry, this little bang is driving me crazy. But I said, I want to do this every day. So I said, how can I live stream? And I said, maybe I'll like incorporate it into Gals. So I started fooling around with that and I started doing it weekly and it just kind of took off. So anyways, back to Lizzie Lou Studio. So Michelle, my cousin, her middle name is Elizabeth. And as kids growing up, anytime we were playful, her mother, my Aunt Kathy, would call her Lizzie for her middle name, and I would call her Lizzie. So I still call her Lizzie to this day. And when we're feeling playful, and my middle name is Louise. So I live streamed because my cousin Michelle asked me to do something for her, and I did it for her, and I fell in love with doing it. I found that, I mean, I've always been interested in broadcasting and that kind of thing. I've always been able to do public speaking and that kind of thing. So it was just kind of a natural thing to live stream. But because I do this for the sole reason that my cousin Michelle asked me one time to do it, I had to name the studio. I said, how can I name the studio after her without coming out and calling it Michelle Studio? You know what I mean? So I thought that calling it Lizzie Lou was a good way to honor Michelle and also to plug myself there too, you know? So that is how it became Lizzie Lou Studio. And you know, if you watch my live streams, even before I had this great studio backdrop behind me, I always shouted out, I am live from Lizzie Lou Studio. That is where I am live streaming from. So Lizzie Lou Studio is very near and dear to my heart. Whether I'm doing paranormal podcasting or, I don't know, a crochet podcast, I would be coming at you from Lizzie Lou Studio.
Oh, awesome.
That's awesome. All
So
right.
that's the story behind that.
Misty's
so, hi,
also
Misty.
she's a team member of ours as well. And Kathy is also from a big, crazy Italian family, so she gets it.
You get it. Listen, I have to tell this story, and this isn't paranormal. So what's her name, Kathy? You'll understand this. Well, our family got so big that we would have to have our Christmas parties at the Italian Social Club. And that was just for immediate family, aunts, uncles, cousins, and cousins' spouses, and that kind of thing, right? But we were the kind of family that when you were bringing a friend or introducing a new boyfriend or girlfriend in the family, you stood outside the door of the Italian Social Club and you said to them, look, I promise they're not arguing. This is just how we sound. And, you know, and like, I promise you, nobody's fighting. We're just really loud and boisterous, you know, and that's a good thing. So, yeah, that's how I grew up.
Couple little shout outs to Christy.
Erin.
Yep. She's knowledgeable and enthusiastic. And she visited Kristen at the Honeybee Homestead. Yep. Was thrilled.
Oh, yeah, we did a walk with Kristen. Yep. Very, very exciting. Yeah. See, I told you she's very, very well known in this area. We talk loud. Sue, look at Sue's last name. We're Italian. We talk loud.
Is it
yeah.
Jacobucci?
Jacobucci. That's it. Good job, Brenda. Good job.
I try really hard.
Yeah. Hi, Jen. I'm so glad you could make it. That's another friend of Gal's, JP there. Yep.
Awesome. Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, awesome. Welcome to the show. I haven't got a chance to do that yet. I'm glad that you're here. And Brenda already answered one of my questions because we need to get a neon sign like she's got back there. I'm a man. I go in a store, shiny objects, I get distracted. So that neon sign would be awesome. So as far as that goes. So tell me a little bit about New England. tell me how many places you've been to and what's haunted out there. Because our motto is, if you want to go hunting with us, get in the truck. So if you want to go somewhere else, that's our motto. We'll come get you. I'll come to the truck and pick you up. So no problem.
Come to New England. I mean, it is the birthplace of the American Revolution, and there's so much history here that certainly goes back to the 1700s. And I'll tell you about a couple places that we go to quite frequently that go back that far. But not only that, I mean, you have to consider, and certainly, where are you in Iowa?
Mhm.
Yes.
Iowa, where you are too. There's water where you are, right? There's
Yeah.
water where we are. So if I tell you that, the American history goes back here to the 1700s, well, you better be damn skippy that the history in that geography goes back a lot longer than that, because people set up where people set up. People will build where they know there is water and where there is fertile land and where they know that they can grow crops and where they know there's trade routes and that kind of thing. So I think the exciting thing about New England is that you do have homesteads still standing that go back to the 1700s.
Mhm.
But the actual locations themselves just go so much further than that. So, for example, the Peter Oliver House is a place that me and my group frequent. And if you saw Christy's name, it's Christy Parashat Oliver House. Um, that house has so much history. I can't do it justice by telling the story. I do recommend that you look it up, but it was very important in the building of our nation. So I always like to say I'm not going to have a colonizer conversation with anybody. I'm not here to make an opinion on that. I'm just here to say this is what happened. There were some things that happened in that house where we go to frequently, that if these certain things didn't happen, we just might not be sitting here right now enjoying the freedoms that we're enjoying. So very, very historical. But so the Peter Oliver House has a mill associated with it, okay? And which is kind of across the way. Whenever I go to the Peter Oliver House, I'm always early. So I go sit at the mill. It's very peaceful. They've got a herring run there. Would you be familiar with what a herring run is?
Mm.
It's a waterway, a
Mhm.
very
Yeah.
important waterway, and herring. And I think it's got to do with the you know how important that kind of stuff is. Okay, I can't really
Mhm.
explain it, but anyways, my point is, so where the Peter Oliver House is, which again, this house is standing from the 1700s and is so vital to our country, and they built a mill on this water. My point is that there is literally water running through this area, so that that before the Hutchinson family or the Oliver family or anybody else was there were other people
Mhm.
living there, living off the land, because there was fishing and it is fertile land and there was water and there is river and there's salt water and there's this and there's that and there's wildlife and there's food and there's hunting and that kind of thing. So my point is, you have these locations with human occupation going back thousands of years, not just
Mhm.
somebody lived in a house here since the 1800s.
Gotcha.
You've got really long standing, and then in some places in New England, have you ever heard of America's Stonehenge?
Yes. Yes.
That is in New Hampshire, and it is a stone, I don't know, compound or reservation or whatever. I don't mean any offense to anybody,
Mhm.
but it's a place where people lived. It predates what we know to be
Correct.
Native Americans in that location. And again, I
Correct.
don't mean any offense with any terminology. I apologize. I
Correct.
think you know the point I'm making.
Mhm.
It predates it predates the 2,000-year history that we
Correct.
know of Native peoples, indigenous peoples in this
Correct.
area. And the other thing, it being built out of granite. New Hampshire is the granite
Correct.
state. Personally, I'm a firm believer in the stone tape theory. I believe
Mhm.
that granite and stone will hold memories,
Gotcha.
will replay residual. So you've got that factor as well. So you asked what it's like to be in New England. We've got everything from homes that were vital to the American Revolution, to churches that were around back then,
Mhm.
to locations that that predate what we know to be indigenous people. So I think that anywhere you turn in New England, you're very lucky to find some type of haunted location.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's really cool. We're going to make a trip out there. I'm so curious about history. I love history, so I'm so curious about history in the first place. I've been to Virginia. I've been to the Revolutionary War and Civil War houses in Virginia, Yorktown. So to me, I
Well,
was
those
really
are on my bucket list.
Yeah,
Those are definitely on.
those,
Yeah.
they were fascinating places to go to because I love that. I love our American history, as far as that goes. And so,
Tim, make it a point for yourself to look up the Peter Oliver House and the
Okay.
history there. You will enjoy very
Okay.
much reading about the unusual history there.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I'm
it's a
making notes.
very, very active house as well.
Okay, I'm making notes as we're going along here, so I'll have to do that.
Oh, good. Yeah, don't miss that location. Another location that we go to frequently would be the Emory Estate in Weymouth, Massachusetts, which is another. It's a house that was built after Mount Vernon. After the family was a fan of George Washington's home. It's a beautiful home, and again, the funds raised by public ghost hunts go towards preserving the history, preserving the property, maintenance to the property, pest control to the property, painting and patching and all that kind of stuff, so you're contributing to a good cause. Ghost hunting is fun, paranormal investigating is fun, but you're also contributing to a good cause. And sometimes you're finding answers.
Yeah, gotcha.
Things. So, Tim, I'm going to put you down another rabbit hole. You want to go to YouTube, you want to look up Peter Oliver House, and you want to start watching some paranormal videos on that place.
Okay.
The place is amazing. And so check it out. Not just look up a history of it, but look up some videos. It's a crazy house.
Well, that'd be a rabbit hole I'd jump headfirst into anyway, so that's not a problem.
So and the Emory Estate as well. Look into that as well. The Emory Estate is a 3-story home, and it's got I know I'm gonna mispronounce this, and I always think of Rick Smith because he knows how to pronounce it. Cupola. Do you know what a cupola is?
Sure.
So the Emory Estate has a cupola, and you can see Boston. You can see over Boston Harbor, and you can see Boston, and it is stunning, and it's amazing, and it's just so beautiful. So there's that aspect of it as well.
Cool.
We're right outside of Boston, so there's a lot of history here.
Okay, that'd be really cool. I see that one of our guests here said there's a lot of crops in Iowa. Well, guess what? There's a lot of barns and a lot of cupolas too. So. We got it.
And I want to address Christy's comment. So, and I was going to mention water as well. So granite, I said the granite, definitely water. But also, could you pop that back up for a second, Brenda? The Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah.
So the house that I'm talking about, the Oliver House, is in the Bridgewater Triangle, which you look that up on a map. Very, very interesting location.
Okay.
Active hauntings. Active sightings of cryptids, not just something like Bigfoot, but sightings of massive pterodactyl-like birds, something called the Pukwudgie, which is a small trickster, trickster thing, So you've got all kinds of stuff. You've got the Freetown State Forest there. You've got what is it? The what's that bridge? The Milk Bridge or something? Skim Milk Bridge. Crazy activity. If you guys come to New England, you have to come for a week at least, because it'll just be constant. We've got so much to show you. But the Bridgewater Triangle, everything and anything that you can imagine. Paranormal, supernatural, cryptid, UFO comes out of this very small location right down the road from where we all live. So
I've seen some shows. About that triangle, the Pukwudgie and all that. So that's a very interesting. I forgot that was out there. See, now we have to go. Now the Jersey.
Now you have to go. Right. It's meant to be. it sounds good to me. I've got to get an RV. I've got to. And Joy, where is Old Deerfield? What is that? Joy had mentioned visiting Old Deerfield.
Oh, I've heard of Deerfield.
And Sybil said she stayed at a silo in Deerfield.
Okay.
So,
I've heard of Deerfield. Yeah. Been a while. Cool.
Oh, I don't.
You
I'm not
know,
sure what
so
it is.
I have to say,
Tim, I want to
yeah,
I
go
want to
ahead.
recommend another thing for you, Tim, to look up an army of two.
An army of
An
two.
army of two. There's
Okay.
the Reverend Mark is in the house. Another OG number one fan of gals, the Reverend Mark Ramponi. Thanks for joining us, Mark. But Tim, you want to look up an army of two? I did a show on a haunted lighthouse here in Massachusetts and was
Yeah.
floored by the information that I found.
Okay.
If you do watch one of my live streams, what I do promise to give you is Facta Obscura. If I tell you I'm going to talk about a haunted lighthouse that everybody knows about, I promise to tell you something that not everybody knew about. Okay.
Okay.
So I looked up, I think it was Situate. I think it was the Situate Lighthouse here in Massachusetts. And I was looking up the story of the haunting. And it turns out that in this town in Situate, there was this family, families were the lighthouse keepers, right? So there was this family, this retired naval guy and his wife and their 12 kids, and they manned the lighthouse. And on this one particular day, the father, the mother, and like eight of the kids went into town to do some shopping and to see family, and they left 2 daughters and a young son home alone. The daughters, one was 18, one was 16, and then the little boy, who actually doesn't play into this story, but there was a little boy home as well, 9 or 10 years old. Anyways, well, the oldest daughter was charged with watching the bay, the Boston Harbor.
Mhm.
That's what you do when you're a lighthouse keeper. You don't just keep the lighthouse, you keep an eye on it. Well, there was a British warship. This was in the 1700s. A British warship pulled into the bay while her family was away. So now it's this 18-year-old girl and this 16-year-old girl. And what do? The 18-year-old sister grabbed the 16-year-old sister, and they grabbed their fife and they grabbed their drum, because that's what you did for entertainment back then as kid. You played the fife and drum. I imagine their family had a whole band going, right? They grabbed their fife and their drum and they went down to Cedar Point, and there was this a point of cedar trees, and they started playing Yankee Doodle Dandy as loud as they could until it reached a crescendo, and the music carried out over the water. And the British were exiting their warship and getting onto rowboats, and they were rowing into Situate Harbor, and they were getting ready to pillage and plunder. And as these girls reached this crescendo with Yankee Doodle Dandy, one girl on fife, one girl on drum, it carried out over the water, and the British thought that the Situate militia was coming to get them, and they turned around in their rowboats, they boarded their warship, and they left the Boston Harbor by the time the parents came home.
Wow.
And who knows, the Bates sisters, thank you, Sue. Who knows what they saved us from? Who
Wow.
knows? So, a very interesting story, and I love telling that story, but I didn't know that's what I was going to tell when I talked about the haunted lighthouse.
Sure.
So if you're a history fan, that is just such a great
Yeah.
story.
That'd be really cool.
And
I
they
gotta look
say that when the wind is just right, you can hear. Yeah, you can
Awesome.
hear Yankee Doodle Dandy by the fife and drums.
Wow,
Yeah,
that'd be
so
cool.
that's
yeah.
awesome.
So yeah, history buff would enjoy that.
That's an amazing story. I had no idea. That's a really amazing story. Really
Hi,
is.
My friend
Roger.
Bruce
Hi,
Duart,
Brandon.
was hanging out with Bruce last night. Thank you, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Bruce, master technician. Bruce knows his equipment. That is for damn sure. You definitely want Bruce on your team if you're doing EVPs or that kind of work, for sure. Also got to say about Bruce, he sees through the BS. So just got to give him a shout out there.
Awesome. So I tell you what, your knowledge of New England and your enthusiasm it's inspiring. Yeah, I love to hear you talk. You have a lot of enthusiasm in what you do. I can tell that you love what you're doing. That's really, really cool. So you mentioned about rocks holding power and energy, sorry. And so a house I live in is built in 1873 and it's got a stacked limestone basement underneath it. So I know what the limestone's like to hold energy. Have
Do
you,
you
so
hear? Do you
what's
hear
that?
things? Do you hear things in the house?
No,
Or do you
no,
feel?
no. I'm an ordained minister and this house has been whacked on so many times because I go ghost hunting so much. No, 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 no. That
Okay,
won't happen here.
got it.
So, so, so
Okay.
you talked about the quartz and, I talk about quartz or limestone or granite, so forth, because the Stonehenge you talked about, that is really cool. If you study anything about the Masons, like I like to study the Masons or the Freemasons or that type of stuff. And I know about that. So tell me about, is there a lot of homes in New England that have limestone or granite or quartz, or have you been to places that you experience a lot more because it is
Granite
a base?
foundations there's probably more granite foundation. I live in Quincy, Massachusetts, and there's a granite quarry here, and there's a brand new granite quarry museum that just opened. So in this area, I mean, again, this is Boston. They're granite foundations, not just really interesting from a
Okay.
paranormal perspective, but from a pest control perspective too. That these old granite foundations allow for mice to get in and that kind of thing, and they constantly need a lot of patching up. But that is certainly not in homes built after the 50s. Okay, that's
Okay.
fair enough, right? But homes in this area built before the 50s, of which there are many, and of which there are many that still go back to the 1700s, it's granite foundations of everybody, almost everybody's house.
Oh, wow.
So I think
Okay.
that's interesting.
Do
Yeah,
you think
yeah.
do you think that helps create a lot of energy? Do you think that helps the paranormal where you're at is part of it?
Absolutely. I believe personally, I believe that especially granite, because I'm sitting on top of it, is a conductor. I
Okay.
believe that it's a conductor, but I also believe, again, the stone tape theory, I believe that it retains energy, and I think that it's capable of giving off residual.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Hearing
Yeah.
and seeing things, not interacting with something, hearing or seeing something that has taken place in the past and is maybe is on a loop or whatever that other kind of theory is.
I got you.
Certain event, maybe a traumatic event, a very high energy event can leave
Okay.
an imprint on that, and those kind of things can be replayed energetically. And I think that people with certain sensitivities can pick up on them,
Okay.
and I think that at times they come through more than other, based on 1,000 things, things that I know about and things that I don't know about
Okay.
atmospherically, and that kind of thing. And these, honestly, Tim, these are, this is the world according to Jennifer. I have no scientific basis to back anything up that I'm saying.
Sure.
I'm telling you what I believe from my own experiences.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And that's what I was asking. That's what you think it is about. Because
Mhm.
I believe the ground can hold a lot of energy and actually put it back out there. So I'm with you on that. I totally agree with that. We
Bruce
don't
agrees with
understand
us
fully the
as well.
paranormal, so
Mm.
you know, we don't understand it fully, so we have to look at every outlet there is to figure out why it exists. So I agree with that 100%. Cool. So we all watch the shows on TV because I started like you did. I've been doing this for 14 years and I got started because I was curious and I went with another group and it took one time like you. Now I want to go every day. So
Yeah,
as far as that
it's
goes,
like crack. I'm
yeah.
addicted.
So are there any so are
I
there any shows that you used to watch on TV that influenced you more than another one, or were they all
I
pretty much
I
even?
hands down, always, always, always Ghost Adventures is number one. Always
Okay.
Ghost Adventures. And I definitely loved Ghost Hunters, and I kind of relate to Ghost Hunters because they were TAPS, the Atlantic Paranormal Society. If you
Yeah.
remember, they were Roto-Rooter by day,
Good.
investigators by night. Well, I'm pest control by day, investigator by night. So I kind of
Good.
relate to that kind of, one of these days I'm going to have a show that shows me driving up in my Ladybug pest control truck in the daytime, and then unloading my paranormal equipment out of
I
it.
got you.
Um, but again, back to I always have to for myself give credit to Ghost Adventures because they put it back in the hands of me. I've said it to you guys before the show, and anybody watching that knows me, I'll say this till I go to the grave. With no big camera crews following us around, that told me that this camera geek could do that herself. So I did, and I've always had a camera attached to me, always been interested in broadcasting
Sure.
and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Good.
um but Ghost Adventures, and I also, not just to see that anybody could do this, but well, I guess to see that anybody could do this. They were going to
Yeah.
regular old locations. Like, you didn't have to go to a haunted castle in Transylvania
Gotcha.
to get results or to communicate or that kind of thing. So again, they just really kind of put it in the hands of the common man, so to
Okay.
speak. There
Okay.
wouldn't be Sam and Colby if there weren't Ghost Adventures, and there wouldn't
Okay.
be Twin Paranormal, and there wouldn't be Project Fear. And we know Project Fear interned with them, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There would be none of them if it didn't start with Ghost Adventures and that
Okay.
Halloween special with Dean Hagland, which is one of my favorite episodes, where they did a live show. And I said the other night, sometimes I feel like Dean Hagland doing a live stream of Ghost Adventures, but
Gotcha.
not really. But again, to
Okay.
answer the question, Ghost Adventures, hands
Oh,
down. And
that's
if you would
that's
ask
interesting
me
because yeah.
who I would want to investigate
Correct.
with, Zach.
Correct. I watched them all because I've actually investigated with Amy Bruni and Adam Berry, and
Hmm.
I met Jeff Coffey, Dave Schrader, the cast from Ghost Mine, Ghost Hunters
Hmm.
International. I ghost hunted with them. It was a blast. I learned a lot from those people and what they do. So that was really interesting. So we do have a little bit of something in common.
Oh,
We
for
both know
sure.
Adam
For sure.
Berry, as far as that goes.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I have to say about those kind of celebrity events, like Dustin. I've been to Dustin events
Mhm.
and Adam events. I find they're very inclusive. It doesn't matter what level of,
Mhm.
if you're very experienced, you can go, and if you have no experience,
Correct.
you can go, and
Correct.
they will include you. I find that at these events that these guys are, and ladies too, Amy and Chris and all of them, very approachable, very friendly.
Mhm.
They are going to do an
Correct.
experiment with a piece of equipment. You're going to understand the experiment. They're
Correct.
going to explain the equipment. And if you have a question, they're going to answer the question. I know you do pay a little more for a so-called celebrity event,
Correct.
but you get what you pay for. And like I said, my experiences with Adam and Dustin and a couple other ones, I really got what I paid for and felt
Correct.
that they were very
Correct.
inclusive, and again, for anybody, really explained a lot. Helped me want to get to that next level.
Yeah. Yeah. They were actually very helpful. They talked to me like I was somebody. So that was really cool to know. So that's really
Yeah.
interesting. I'm going to turn this back over to Brenda because we're getting up there in the time. Because you
Okay.
and I could probably talk all night because I can talk
I'm an
forever.
easy interview, guys.
You are. So you literally just said that if you were to pick one person to interview or to ghost hunt with, it would be Zach. Um,
You too?
not for me. I've watched every episode they've ever put out. Don't get me wrong. I've learned a lot of where a lot of locations are because of that, which I'm thankful for. I myself can't stand Zach. I just can't.
There's two schools of thought out there, mine and yours. I get that. Yep.
But I would investigate with Aaron all day.
Oh, totally.
You know what
Totally.
I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So Bruce says In Search Of was the show back from the 70s. Anybody
Leonard
that was born then
Nimoy.
knows that
In Search
show.
Of, yeah.
Our
Yeah.
age is showing, guys, because yeah, Leonard Nimoy, right? Yeah. Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, Tim has also met like Chip Coffey, Dave Schrader. Like he's met a lot of them
Yeah.
and has
Yeah.
investigated
I love
with
Chip.
a lot of them.
Yes. We'd
Yeah.
do it again. We'd do it again.
Mhm.
So I'm envious of all of you guys. I've not made it to like a Paracon thing yet. I did go to a Dustin Perry show. I have done that. But like I haven't been to a Paracon to actually get out with the people. So I'm super excited about all of that. What was one of the most terrifying experiences you've come across in an investigation?
Oh, I can answer that. It was very recently. It was very recently. It was in March. We terrifying in a good way. I left, I ran out of the room, and I'm sorry if it happened again, I would stay. I'm a little more curious now. So we were at the S.K. Pierce Mansion in Gardner, Massachusetts, the furniture capital of the world, or at least the furniture capital of New England. At one time, I'm sure it was the furniture capital of the United States. But anyways, S.K. Pierce was a furniture maker, and he has his mansion from the, I think, 1800s still stands. And this house has a very interesting history of nefarious activities from businessmen, activities nefarious perpetrated against women, girls that worked in the house, local women, and that kind of thing. So just, you could keep that in mind. It's just some weird shit happening in that house, right? So I was on. Okay, let me lay out the third floor for you. I'm here. I was in this one room. There's the maid's room, housekeeper's room, Susan and Sarah, two young girls. They were in charge. Things were very different back then. Young girls, 16, 17 years old, in charge of the entire housekeeping staff. They were young women back then. Their room is here. Down the hall, on the third floor where the servants' quarters are, down the hall and on the opposite side is a beautiful billiards room where the men would come up and smoke cigars and drink and play pool. Okay.
Mhm.
Which to me, that's not where you'd put a billiards room, on the third floor and near the servants' quarters. And I don't know, things that make you go, right? And there's a closet in there that's in that billiard room that is creepy AF. Okay, just creepy. Anyways, there was a group, the group who was holding the event were in the billiards room doing their experiment. And my friend Joan and I were up the hall and on the opposite side in Susan and Sarah's room. And there was a vanity with a mirror. And I said, I'm going to stand in front of the mirror. Now, I've never done scrying before. I've looked in the mirror and don't think I've had any experiences before, but I just thought it was a bright idea. Saturday, March 21st in the servants' quarters that night. And I stared into the mirror and I said to my friend Joan, I'm completely gone. I can see the wall behind me. And through looking at myself through the mirror, I was gone and I could see the wall behind me.
Wow.
And just as quickly as I was gone, I came back. I said, oh, there, I'm back. But I stayed there looking. And after a few seconds, I saw in the mirror my entire face, my hair, my glasses, I know what my face looks like, fly out of the top of my head and then fly right back in. Like that. It was that fast. But I saw my face. I saw myself go and come right back. And I said, I'm goosebumps telling you this story. I am shivers down the back of my spine right now. And I said to my friend Joan, I just left my body and I just came back. I mean, I was scared shitless, like, right. So
Wow.
then the spirit box, which hadn't said a damn thing the entire time, said, leave now. And I said,
Wow.
you got it. We grabbed the
I
spirit box and the camera. I
bet.
set the camera down. I didn't film myself, but we did get it on audio, got the whole thing on audio. And we hightailed it down to the kitchen. Okay. Well, this particular event, one of the things they advertised was a midnight dessert bar. And it was midnight. So we went down to the first floor and it was time for everybody to have dessert. And so everybody was kind of convening and saying, you know, how's your night going? And we're like, oh my God, we just had the craziest experience in Susan and Sarah's room.
Mm.
And the people who were running the event said, we were just up there in the billiards room. We saw you. And I said, what? Because I was here. They were down here and over here. And I said, what do you mean? They said, we saw you duck into the door and pull back. They saw me when I left my body. So the experience was terrifying. I want to say in a good way, if that makes any sense. It was terrifying. And then when it was validated, it was even more terrifying. I think even the people who didn't experience, everybody in the kitchen was like, whoa, what's going on here? So that was really scary for me, really scary for me. But in retrospect, I feel like it's something that I might explore. I don't want to say welcome, but it's something I might explore in the future. I might explore that in the future.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a very recent and scary experience.
I bet it was.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, glitch in the
Daniel
matrix,
says
right
glitch in the
there.
matrix. Amazing.
Yeah,
And whoa.
yeah.
And shout out to Veronica Ghost if you're still here. I know you came in. She was busy chatting. Oh my gosh. I don't know. At that point, being told that they saw me somewhere where I wasn't, I would probably actually have to leave the property for a little bit to like figure out like, oh my God.
Allow me to say more about this story, okay? So I feel like knowing what I know about what took place on that third floor, I feel like that maybe something happened there where, I don't know, had to do with one of the young maids. I don't know. But that was on the third floor. This was an overnight. I slept in that house.
Awesome.
And the room that I slept in was the nanny's room. Okay. So now the nanny's room, so the third floor, the servants' quarters and the billiard room. Okay. And also a bunch of other stuff. This house had again, Tim, you're interested in history, S.K. Pierce Mansion. They had a rain catchment system so that they had running water in the house when nobody had running. It was amazing. And all that original stuff is still there, even though they don't use it anymore. But anyways, the third floor is the billiard room and the servants' quarters. The second floor, the floor below that is the bedrooms. So, and certainly back in the day, the husband and wife of the house didn't sleep in the same bedrooms. Now, the first Mrs. Pierce passed away, and then Mr. Pierce married a much younger woman and had like a second family. But Mr. Pierce, his bedroom faced the factory. His bedroom was in the front of the house. His bedroom faced the factory. And then his wife's bedroom, and then there was the nanny's bedroom. So what's interesting is that in the nanny's bedroom, she had a chest of drawers built into the wall, and her chest of drawers built into the wall backs into the fireplace so that the nanny has nice warm clothes in her dresser, and there's not something like that in the bedroom of the lady of the house. So that's interesting. The other thing is there is I don't know, we would put what are they called? An intercom, right? We would put an intercom in now or something like that, or even a nanny cam or some shit like that. They had a plastic tube that went from the nanny's room. Now, where would it go? To the wife's room. to say, oh, the babies are up, the kids are up. Do you want them right? No.
Hmm.
The tube of communication went from the nanny's room to Mr. Pierce's room.
Right.
Look at Brenda's face, right? Does that not make any sense at all? Not at all, right? So I slept in the nanny's room, right? Now, at one point, we were investigating in Mr. Pierce's room, and I sat on the edge of his bed, and somebody was playing with my hair, and it was not scary. Now, you asked about terrifying. I told you about a scary experience. I'm telling you something that was the complete opposite. It was very tender, it was flirty, it was loving. There was no bad or negative vibe to it, and all I could think of was he was associating me with that nanny.
Hmm.
So I thought two things, because people are funny creatures and are capable of many things. So I thought Mr. Pierce upstairs did bad things with people and wasn't very nice, but downstairs I think that maybe, and I'm not excusing any of his behaviors, but maybe he had a romantic relationship with the nanny, a loving relationship. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say consensual, because it would have been an abuse of power any way you look at it, but a different type of, not a forceful, you know what I'm saying? I'm more of a, flirty. But the other thing is, when I was sitting on the bed and I felt that I was being caressed, for lack of a better word, we had put the camera down to film me, and the camera completely stopped. The camera filmed everything all night long. The only thing it didn't film was me sitting on Mr. Pierce's bed, having my hair caressed. The camera, when we turned the camera around, it just froze. And when we picked it up, it started filming again. So that's the only time it stopped filming all night.
Interesting.
So,
It is.
Yeah, that's the S.K. Pierce Mansion in Gardner, Massachusetts. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We could sit here and talk to you for another 3 hours.
But it's been an hour already.
I know, it has been an hour already. I don't know if Kathy's popping off, but she wanted to let you know this.
You too, Kathy, for sure. And this is going to have a part 2, and I'm going to have you guys on my show, because you're right, Brenda. We have so much more to talk about, so many people to meet, so much cool stuff to say.
We do. Okay. So to be respectful of you, because you got to work tomorrow, you have podcasts. When are your podcasts?
So I do a live stream. I try to do them Saturday nights at 5:30, and I try to do them early so that if people have plans, they can still listen before they go out. But if I have an investigation, I don't usually live stream on Saturdays. So sometimes I go Friday and sometimes I go Sunday. You will find me live streaming either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday over at Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies on Facebook, or at Jennifer Payne 36 on YouTube. And please like, subscribe, follow, share, help the algorithm, and do the same for Paranormal Girls and Tim, you guys. Break that 2,000 mark tonight. If you don't, I'm going to be going to bed a liar. Don't make a liar out of me. I promised them that this would happen. But anyways, that's where you'll find me. The other thing is, I do a live stream that has to do with mysterious and macabre. So it's not just hauntings, but creepy stuff. Like I did one on the Pied Piper. Fascinating story. Rats had nothing to do with this. You need to go back and watch that. So my live streams tend to be mysterious and macabre, but this past Friday, I just launched a new format called Paranormal Panel. Woohoo, let's hear it for Paranormal Panel. And I had a friend who had a mystery, and she sent me a picture, and I sent the picture out to 2 friends of mine who are psychic mediums. Oh, and another friend of mine who's an intuitive and has some great electronic tools. And we did a live panel reading of my friend Kat and her picture, and we uncovered some mysteries for her. And for anybody who watched that show and was amazed by all the things that were validated and uncovered, what you don't know is that I woke up Saturday morning to 5 or 6 more texts from Kat validating 5 or 6 more, or 7 or 8 more, because another friend piped in things. And so we're going to have Kat back on and talk about more stuff that she validated. So anyways, live streaming things about mysterious and macabre. And then also stay tuned. There's definitely going to be more paranormal panel coming your way. We've got an alternating panel, and we've got people who are lining up to be the sitters, people that we're going to read online. Okay.
All right. Then
Okay.
hit on this.
Oh, last but not least, I want to remind you all to stay tuned for the walk. Christy Parrish, you all know her over in this neck of the woods. Christy Parrish will come to your location and do a walkthrough of your property. Christy will help you find answers, help you solve mysteries. If there is a mystery, we will help you solve it. Contact Jennifer Payne 36A at gmail.com to book the walk with Christy Parrish. Thank you.
Cool.
All right. So, great show, Paul says.
Bedtime for sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you, Joy. Joy, I'll be in touch. You know what about. And Cheryl will be talking to you soon. You are going to be on my paranormal panel for sure. And I can't wait to investigate with you and your husband. Very nice to meet you guys last night. Mark Ramponi, Reverend Mark, another #1 fan of Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies. Take it easy, Mark, and give Dixie my love. That's his dog. And Mowgli, too. And good night, Nathan and Sue and everybody. Thank you guys so much. If you guys make a blooper reel, I keep hitting my nose on my microphone. Thank you, Kathy. I'm so glad that you tuned in. Nice to see you. And Sybil, over 2,000 now, Brenda. I told you.
Thank you.
I told you.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
So,
just
and Sybil, you guys have to have Sybil on your show as well. She is a psychic medium, and she's a very dear friend of mine, and she is a
Okay.
gal too. You have to have her on, so jot that down, okay?
Okay.
Also, Sybil, psychic medium Sybil has a podcast that you guys need to listen to. Okay, so check her out as well, okay?
will
Okay.
do. Okay.
Okay,
Hold
all right,
on.
very
Hold on. Oh,
Take your time. Lucky me, I can see my bed from here, so and I already have my pajama bottoms on. I just need to change my
There you
shirt.
go. Halfway
So-
there.
All right, Carrie. Good. That's my friend Carrie. Good night, Carrie. Thank you so much. Carrie's such a big support.
yes. While I'm popping these up here, I'm gonna let you guys know. We were having a drawing as soon as we hit 2,000. So be looking for that post. You guys will have an opportunity to get entered into the drawings that I am going to do since we now hit that 2,000. But you guys, thank you so much. Thanks for joining the podcast. Hope you come back and check out our other podcast members that we have. We are booked solid through the end of August, through the end of
Yep.
July. I am booking
Right.
August. I was telling that to
Mhm.
Jennifer before we started. So we have a great lineup, whether they are teams, mediums, locations, anything like that. So if you liked us being on tonight with Jennifer, because she was the show, please come
Yeah.
back and check us out. CNA Paranormal Wednesday night, Ghost Quest Solo Sunday. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us, and it's been great. We will have you back. We always try to do like a 6-month follow-up, but
Right.
I think I'm gonna
You're
put you
booked.
back in August. It won't even be 6 months, but
You're
we'll get
booked,
put it
though.
back in.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'll be there for sure.
Anyway, everybody, good night. Thank you so much. Happy Paranormal Day. Absolutely. Thanks, Jennifer,
Bye-bye.
so
Pleasure to
much
meet you.
for being on the
Thank
show.
Thank you so much.